suggest that since you're watching this video, you've already watched this video and you've already taken the MCEA, which is located right here where it says first assignment. And if you have done these things, then you are all set and you should continue watching this video. If you have not done those other things, please go do those things first. Okay, and before I move on from this page, please note this date. If you don't do this MCEA by this date, you get dropped from the class, and there's not really a whole lot that we can do about it. It's just a thank you for attempting. Too bad it didn't work out. Please come back next time. So what I'm going to do in this video is just talk briefly about our syllabus and talk briefly about, well, in this video, it'll just be the syllabus. And then I will do another video where I talk about the website. So if you get tired of hearing my voice, you can just stop watching videos for a little while after you finish viewing the syllabus here. Okay, so let's look at that syllabus. If you go to course syllabus and class schedule, you'll see a link. And if you click on this link, it will download our syllabus. And it should look like this to you. Hopefully that's what you see when you download it. This is our class number. This is how long we'll be in class together. Please note that is not, I say again, not a normal length of time for a class semester. A class semester is usually 16 weeks because you're very brave or you're a glutton for punishment. Haha, just kidding. You have signed up for a super speedy English 111 class. And we are asynchronous online. So these 8 weeks will all be online. We won't meet face-to-face at all. Please do the MCEA by that date. Here's how you should reach me. Use that email address. Do not, under any circumstances, use the LMS resource for emailing me. And the reason for that is that I teach at a lot of different schools, and the LMS doesn't email me and let me know that you have messaged me via the LMS. The fastest way to reach me is through my email. And like I said, I teach at a lot of different schools, and so I'm not in the LMS every second of every day. I do, however, get notified when I get an email, whether I'm in my email or not. So if you really need to get a hold of me, if you have something important you want to say to me or ask me, that's the way to do it. Okay. I will do my level best to get back to you within one business day. If for some reason you don't get a good response, please poke me again. Like I said, I teach at a lot of different schools. I teach here. I teach at Queen's University. I teach at Central Piedmont. I am all over the place. So it's not unheard of for me to drop a ball or two. So if you don't get a response that is helpful, please poke me. Please email me again and say, I never heard back from you on this. I will endeavor to not allow that to happen. But if you don't get a response that's helpful, please tell me, and I will drop everything at that point and do my best to help you out. Here's the description of our class. Here's a slightly extended description of our class. Basically, you're going to read a lot, you're going to write a lot, because those are the only two ways that you are ever going to get better at writing. And just as an aside here, you will need to be able to write in order to function in the world. You will need to be able to research in order to function in the world, especially as it comes to being able to function well at your job, regardless of what that job might be. Whether you are, flipping burgers or going on to be a college professor, you're gonna need to be able to research and you're gonna need to be able to write. And this class does a lot to lay down the framework for you to understand the best way to go about doing that for yourself. We have an LMS. It is based around Moodle. It is not my favorite LMS, but it's what we've got. Here's our outcomes. Here's some recommendations that the school gives for success. Approach each new assignment with an open and growth mindset and ask questions. I totally agree with that. Check the course schedule often and log into the LMS daily. Yes, please. Complete all activities, regardless of whether they are formally graded or not. There are very few activities that you will do for me that will not have some grade associated with them. Some of the lower level, less grade intensive assignments are going to basically be, did you do it? Did you not do it? Did you take a stab at it? If you took a stab at it, then you'll get a grade, a good grade. If you submit something that's it's clear that you just didn't even really bother, then that's going to show up in your grade. So at the bare minimum, please try to submit something that that you've taken some time with. Have some basic computing skills. Please use some critical thinking, some creative thinking, and some really good problem solving skills. Your time in college, hopefully, will improve these things. You'll need to have strong time management and planning skills. Since this is not just an online class, but a short semester online class, you are definitely going to need these things. I believe that online classes are the more difficult, whether it's, English or math or what have you. Online classes are much more difficult for students, in my experience, than any other type of class, because you have to keep yourself motivated. And I basically give you the information that you need, but it's up to you to read it. It's up to you to review it and understand it. And if you have questions about it, if something's not clear, it's up to you to say, hey, I need some help here. You have to be able to keep control of your calendar and make sure that you do the things in a timely manner. So there's an extra layer of difficulty here. You do not have to buy a textbook. It is found at this link. This link is also found on our website right here, textbook. And it's, I think, a super great resource. It is, first and foremost, free. It is straight to the point. There's not a lot of BS in it. So when you click on that link, either on our website or in that syllabus, you'll need to click View Resource. And this is your textbook. Right here where it says Read Book, that's where you go to get started. You don't have to sign in or any of that business, unless you just want to. Here's where you get to the contents. So as you can see, we've got links to each one of the areas and chapters that you'll be reading. You won't be reading all of these. They all have good information in them, but I've only assigned some of them. But we don't just have chapters, we also have examples, student essay examples, which I think is just a wonderful thing for students to have access to, because honestly, this is what your paper needs to look like. And if your paper doesn't look like this, you're going to lose points. If it's not set up in MLA format, complete with that, no extra spaces between the paragraphs, with your paragraphs tabbed in, with your title centered, all of that sort of thing. If it doesn't look exactly like this, it's not MLA. And not to be a nitpicker, but that's how you lose really, really silly points. And we'll go over all of this stuff, but this textbook does give you examples, which I think is just excellent. Oh yeah, let's go back to this. So we will also make use of this website right here, the Purdue OWL. You probably have heard of that. if you haven't, you really want to check it out. This is the best place to go for any kind of question that you might have about MLA, about writing an essay, about grammar. It's got pretty much everything that you need an answer to, even if you don't know that you have that as a question. So those are the two things that we're going to be using in place of the standard textbook and the standard handbook. We have a tutoring center. You should definitely make use of it. You pay for it, so why would you not make use of it? Make use of it, for heaven's sakes. They will help you out. They will help you as you work on your resources for your research essay. They'll help you make sure that you've got everything in an assignment that needs to be there. They'll help you brainstorm at the very beginning. They'll help you tidy it up at the very end of the process. They'll do all of those things. So make sure that you make use of, the online aspect of it or the on-campus aspect if you are on campus. Please know that you should expect to spend at least that amount of time every week working on our coursework, reading, navigating the website. Here's the breakdown for grades. It's a 10-point grading scale. Here's what we'll be doing. You'll have 3 essays, and they will count for 55% of your grade. They're not, I think one of them is graded at a slightly lower percentage, but that's the biggest amount of your grade right there. So if you don't turn in one of these essays, you're going to have a bad time. You'll do, I think it's 7 or 8 journals. You've got quizzes. Oops. Oh, well, I just screwed that up. You'll have quizzes every week, or nearly every week. That's how most of the time, that's how I'm going to take attendance. You'll have some class assignments where it's like, comma work or grammar work or, something like that. And then you'll have a final assessment, which is a test. You'll also have a unit test, I think, after our first essay. Your first unit, your first essay is narrative. Your next unit, an essay, is a research essay where you make an argument and you back it up with your research. And then finally, you reflect on the semester, and we have a very short, and I do mean very short, unit on the reflective process, which, this is one of the things that has become kind of a big buzzword in education is, having students do reflective writing and how important reflective work is. There's a lot to reflective work. It's not just sitting down at the PC and banging out an essay where you say, oh my God, this semester was great. I loved it. Here's what I loved about it. No. It's much more involved than that. And we will talk about that. Hopefully, as you work through these assignments, you're going to learn these things. Please don't use ChatGPT or other large language models. Those things have a good place in the world. I'm not one of those people who says, oh my God, never use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT myself to do all kinds of things, whether it's to plan out a menu for the week, what are me and my husband going to eat this week, and what's our shopping list going to look like, or, how do I do this thing? What I don't use it for is writing for me, because it is terrible at writing for you. It is terrible at trying to pretend to be a human and write like a human. Please don't try to use it for that, because that will bite you in the rear end. I say a little bit more here about the different genres of writing that we're going to do. Your journals are going to be graded on, like I said earlier, some very basic criteria. Did you respond to the prompt? And did you stay on topic? And did you hit the word count that I give you, which generally speaking is 200 words. That's not a lot. I think you have 1 or 2 that's only 100 words, but the majority of them are 2. You have quizzes. Most weeks there's going to be a quiz that's associated with the readings. and that will be a quiz that I use for attendance as well. So it will be due before the end of the week, and if you don't do that quiz, even if you do the other stuff, if you don't do that quiz, you haven't attended class. Let's see. This one's really important right here, the late work section. Please make sure that you go through and read this on your own and fully grasp what I am saying here. I'm not going to sit here and read it to you, but I am going to point out some really important parts to this. You can tell me as many times as you want to, I need an extension on this essay, or I need an extension on this assignment. Fine, take it. That is completely up to you. You do not have to email me and request to turn work in late. It is your work, and you are going to turn it in when you are finished with it. When that is up to you. You don't have to ask my permission. What you do need to do is you do need to be aware that there is, just like with everything else, there are consequences. So these are the consequences for having late work. For each calendar day, the grade drops by 5 points. So if you submit a major essay 2 days late, you can kiss the A goodbye. The A is gone. You won't be able to get an A. After 5 days, the work is no longer acceptable and will receive a 0. The reason for this is that we are moving fast. We are moving super fast, and everything builds on everything in this class. And if you go for 5 days and you haven't done the essay that was due previously, you're not going to really have a good time doing the rest of the work. So if you go for 5 days and don't turn it in, you can turn it in, but it's still going to have a 0. Low stakes work like quizzes and journals and that sort of thing, you have to do those by the due date. If you don't do those by the due date, don't sweat it if you have 1 or 2 that you don't turn in on time and thus have a 0. Those things are super low stakes, and I basically grade them as, did they do the bare minimum? Yes. Okay, that's 100. So that set of assignments is intended to help you understand what we're working on, help you understand the genre, the discussions that we're having, what have you. But it's also intended to give you the opportunity to work on things and write things that allow you to take some risks, because the grade is so small, it's not going to impact your final grade that much. Now, if you blow them all off, yeah, that's going to impact it. Late work does not get the same priority. So if you turn something in, 24 hours late, it's not going to go to the top of the stack. It's going to go to the bottom of the stack. I have to finish grading the stuff that's timely before I get to the late work. So be aware of that when you are thinking about when you turn in late work. Obviously, if you have a life-altering event that's out of your control, death of an immediate family member, you're in a car accident, you're hospitalized, et cetera, obviously this policy does not apply. I am not a monster. I realize that terrible things happen to people all the time. And, for something that's, really big like that, I am more than happy to work with you. Please don't think that I'm going to punish you for things that happen to you outside of your control. If you submit work in a file format that the LMS can't read, for example, in Pages, now obviously I am an Apple person myself, but you can't submit work to the LMS in Pages and get it graded in the LMS. I can't download every single thing that students, put on the LMS. And the LMS is where the grading has to happen. So everything that you submit in the LMS has got to be readable by the LMS. If you submit work in a file format that the LMS can't understand, then it won't be considered late the first time this happens. If it happens again, then the late work policy applies. So if you submit something and you aren't aware that you've submitted it in Pages, which I don't really understand how that would happen, but it does a lot, you are going to lose a lot of points. So please, please, please make sure that when you submit work, it can be read by the LMS. If the work is not accessible through the LMS for grading purposes, meaning if I can't read it on the LMS, I will assign it a grade of 1. So if you see a grade in the grade book and it's a 1, the only reason it would be a 1 is if you have submitted a file that is inaccessible through the LMS. So if you see a 1, you need to quickly upload the correct format of a file. I will put a comment on the rubric. I will send you an email, and then I will also give you that grade. So you will have 3 notifications that this is what's happened. Also, please don't send me your essay in an email unless I say, please send me an essay in an email. If you find that you are not sure if your submission was completed and you are so tempted to send me an email that says, okay, I'm not sure this actually went through. Here's my essay just in case. Don't do that. I ignore those emails and I treat your work as late based on what day it is uploaded to the LMS. So it's fine, if you want to send me those emails, that's fine, but it does you no good. I look to the LMS for my grading. That's where I do my grading. That's where all of the grading information lives, and I don't grade anywhere other than that. Here's some information about your formatting. Basically, you need to do your essay in MLA style. And this gives you some information about how to do that, and we'll talk about that, going forward. Attendance policy for the school. If you ghost the class, if you fail to attend for 2 consecutive weeks, I have to withdraw you, unless, of course, we have passed the no-show date, or what is it called? Where is it? Let's see, 75% point of the course. If we pass that point, I can no longer withdraw you, and I have to fail you if indeed that's, what's going on. So please make sure that you attend class regularly, whether it is a seated class, a hybrid class, completely online class, whatever. Make sure that you are attending regularly. Otherwise, you can really run afoul of some issues with financial aid, with your GPA, etc. Please don't plagiarize. Please don't cheat. Please don't use ChatGPT. And then here are some important weeks in our time together. For the first week, this is not the only thing you have due, but this is something that I really wanted to bring focus to. Week 2, you have your final draft of your narrative essay. Week 3, you've got a test, etc. So you have lots to do, but I don't, put all of it in the syllabus. It's found on the LMS. If you have questions about stuff, look at the LMS and see what's there. If you still have questions, email me, and I will do my level best to get back to you as quickly as humanly possible. That is the review of the syllabus, and I hope that you have enjoyed this discussion of the syllabus. If you have questions, email me immediately, okay?